Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, your own blog, Pinterest, Be Real, Supernova, Twitch, and even the metaverse. How can any content creator keep up? You can't. So why even try? There's going to be a new platform developed every day, week, month, and year. It's not your job to try to keep up with the Joneses, the trends, or even the latest platform. Your job as a content creator is to identify your target audience. Get really clear on your niche messaging. Figure out the type of content you want to make and the platform you want to post it on. Trying to keep up is what causes burnout, and trying to catch the wave is how you drown. Operating outside of what resonates with you and your true desires can sometimes cause you to feel lost and drive you to abandon something you once loved. In today's video, we're going to explore how being a little selfish, repurposing content, and using self-care as a way to success can not only help you avoid influencer burnout, but help you build a business and create a life you love. As a kid, whenever we didn't want to give up something that belonged to us, we were shamed with these 3 words: don't be selfish. But as an adult, if we don't want to share our lunch, our car, our man, or even our hard-earned money with a stranger, we're not met with those same guilt-tripping words. So, what changed? Selfish was never meant to be negative, just a descriptive word of your current actions. Because of how a word was introduced to us and our lack of redefining that word for ourselves, we're leading lives where we don't understand the importance of putting ourselves first, just because it may result in a little selfish action. Selfishness isn't bad. And today, we're gonna focus on the good kind. We're gonna talk about the type of selfishness that puts you in control of your own life, makes you the captain of your ship, and helps you to find the value in your being as an individual and influencer. Being selfish allows you to prioritize your mental health, happiness, and well-being. Because you're not always focused on something or someone else, it allows you time and space to check in on you. You're better able to feel, define, explore, and process your emotions. You're able to build systems and processes to make sure that you are always okay. Now, if you've watched any of my content before, you've probably heard me talk about my non-negotiable me time. And this is a couple of hours I carve out every morning where I visualize, meditate, stretch, eat a balanced breakfast, and load up on my supplements. And this could be labeled as selfish because I refuse to share this time with any friend, family, loved one, client, business opportunity, or stranger. But it's what allows me to hold myself accountable and really stay happy. In my selfish alone time, I'm reminded of my worth and value. And so when I step out into the world where I'm constantly told my engagement is too low, my followers aren't the right demographic, I should be posting 3 more times than I already am, and that I need to build a new audience on these 4 other platforms, I don't fall into a social media depression. I don't begin to question my intrinsic value, what I offer or can bring to the table. And that's because in my selfish alone time, I'm really able to focus on me. And I'm able to build an anchor of worth and value that doesn't waver depending on my performance on an app. And so you see, before we even dive into how to repurpose content, it's about preparing our mental state to even be able to make it. Because if we move into content creation from the sole standpoint of, is this content on trend? Will this content perform well on these platforms? And will my audience and a brand like it? And the answer is yes. But after posting the content, the result is a no. What does that do to us as a content creator? How much self-doubt does that create? And how much of our value and worth have we tied to something we can't even control? I believe a better approach is to question, does this content relay my message? Does it speak to my target audience? Does it align with the type of brands that I will choose to work with? And do I enjoy creating this type of content? Do you hear the subtle difference? The second set of questions are a bit more self-serving to your needs and your desires. And the result? Better content that resonates with you and your audience. With our mind right, we can focus on how to repurpose content. But before we talk about what it is, let's talk about what it ain't. Repurposing content is not reposting one piece of content to multiple platforms. That's sharing content from platform to platform. And that's sure to support you in a lack of growth, engagement, and opportunities. Basically, it ain't gonna work. And that's because each platform speaks a different language. This is how you have some folks who love Instagram but don't understand TikTok. Those who can get lost in Pinterest for hours and don't dare to read a single tweet. Everyone consumes content differently. And it's important to not try to speak French on an English operating platform. Meaning, Your content must convey your topic in the correct format depending on which platform you post it on. What will work is having a pillar platform, and I suggest it be long form and evergreen, like a website, podcast, or even YouTube. Unlike traditional social media platforms, if set up correctly, SEO can have a major impact on the organic views and listens you receive on these platforms. Once you turn a specific topic into a long-form piece of content for your pillar platform, that topic and portions of the content can be repurposed. I want you to think about what it took to create that long-form piece of content and how that process can also be used. Let's take a look at my client Yana, who loves cooking and is currently enjoying creating gourmet cuisine clips. Yana may start by creating a script for YouTube about how to cook tiramisu. This long-form video would be her first piece of content. She can repurpose that script into a recipe carousel for Instagram. That would be her second piece of content. She can then take that same recipe with a photo of the tiramisu and put it on Pinterest for a third piece of content. She can repurpose and condense that long video into a 90-second reel for her fourth piece of content. Her shopping experience of her out grabbing all of the items for the tiramisu can be turned into a mini vlog for TikTok. That would be her fifth piece of content. And the sixth piece of content, that would be the BTS of her cooking the tiramisu, and it would live on her weekly vlog. One topic, 6 pieces of content, all created in the most consumable way for each platform. Repurposing in this way will force you to plan, organize, and execute. But if we're calling on brands to pay us 6-figure rates for partnerships, it's about time we start operating as 6-figure influencers that plan, organize, and execute. 2 tools that can be used to repurpose content and grab the transcriptions on audio and video are PictoStory and Rev.com. Check the description box below for links to how to use these tools. We can learn to be more selfish and apply all of the tips and tricks to create and repurpose the perfect content and still feel burnout. And in my 10 years of influencer marketing, whenever I've encountered an influencer that has done my above recommendations but still fell short, they were missing the same thing. And that was self-care. Now, because social media has romanticized and distorted what self-care is, you're probably looking at me wondering, how the hell is a trip to the nail shop or buying a luxury bag that I really can't afford gonna help me with influencer burnout? And it probably won't. And that's because the self-care that I'm talking about can't be bought. It's nothing you've seen on social media before or heard about on the latest Black Girl Luxury podcast. And that's because it's unique to you. It's identified during that selfish me time and birthed from you exploring and figuring out your highest self and what it takes to operate there. So what self-care looks like for me is having a workday startup ritual where I review the time mapping I planned the night before in my workday shutdown ritual. In my workday shutdown ritual, I review my to-do list for the week, where I have mapped out how I will spend each day of the week executing these to-dos. I review my calendar for the next day, being sure nothing will interfere with my morning me time, and that I have also carved out time to decompress and enjoy the life I created for myself. Before becoming selfish, I had no idea what made me feel good or of value. I didn't know my bouts of depression were a result of self-sabotage for me not figuring out how I would use my time. I avoid burnout because my mental, physical, and emotional breaks are planned. And I'm a realist, so I know that the way that I map out my day may not always go accordingly, or that I may need more breaks than are planned out. But that's where I have my other self-care secret come into play: grace. Have you ever noticed how we treat people who are going through things so much kinder than we treat ourselves? I like to provide myself with grace, mercy, and reassurance. And I talk to myself like I'm my friend. These are the things that I need. These are the things that reassure my confidence. And these are the things that tell me that I have value and worth when the world is constantly shouting that I don't. These things may work for you too. Feel free to use them, tweak them, try them, and make them your own. Because self-care should be selfish. And remember, it should be unique to you. Avoiding influencer burnout starts by understanding your true needs and desires to operate as your higher self. And in order to find these things out, you have to go within, which takes a little bit of being selfish so that you can truly focus. But once you have these things in order, you can create that killer content that can be chopped and screwed, spliced and diced, recut and repurposed anywhere. I know, this was a lot. and it always is. And that's because we're doing so much more than simply talking about the latest influencer hacks. We're talking about how to become the ultimate version of you, which just so happens to make you a better influencer. If you're new here, I'm Jay, and I recently decided to take my 10+ years of experience, my strategies and tactics, and everything that I've used to build my career and my 20+ private influencer clients, and jam-pack them into videos with info that, if put into action, is sure to change your mental and financial well-being for the best. If you enjoyed this video and you are ready to learn a little bit more, watch the next one. And remember, if you don't go within, you will always go without. Bye.